This is weird, isn't it? We're talking about WWE kind of pay-per-view slash special events on a Sunday, which begs the question, what even in the hell was Smackville? If you thought it was like a place or a location where wrestlers went to do a load of drugs, you be forgiven, it absolutely does sound like that. But really, it was one of two reasons, and you can pick your category depending how much of a conspiracy theorist you are. One, this is probably the likely one, is that WWE wanted to stress test the new WWE Network, and it has been updated before SummerSlam. Or two, they want to start getting more special events on the WWE Network, so if those dastardly fools at AEW try and pull a fast one, they can have counter-programming. But look, it happened, it's brand new, it was kind of exciting. So my name is Simon, and this is What Culture Wrestling. Smackville is done. Let's up those drug downs. The first thing we found out is that Finn Balor, who was due to have an Intercontinental Championship match against Shinsuke Nakamura, was not going to be on Smackville because he had suffered some kind of undisclosed injury. Now, in the real world, he's actually ill, so I hope that he's okay. He didn't like lose an ab or something because people love those abs. But yes, best wishes to Finn Balor. And of course, we don't want anyone to be sick. We don't want anyone to be injured. We don't even want anyone to be sad. Give it a down. Getting back on the happy train though, the best thing about when WWE does show us a house show or one of these smaller live events is that it looks really cool. I mean, even the entranceway, which isn't as grand or as impressive as what you'd see on Raw or SmackDown, it's just so different. It gives everything a different feel. It feels a bit like old school wrestling, and I get a massive kick out of it. And really, it's something that WWE should employ going forward, especially when we do get to pay-per-views. Let's start bringing back unique sets. It just works, and it makes my eyes feel all tingly. And also, it gets it up. Anyway, in terms of the actual show, we were meant to start with Nakamura versus Balor, but Balor ain't gonna be here, so Shinsuke came out. He got on the microphone and said, look, ref, that chump ain't gonna come out. You start counting. When you get to 10, you can raise my arm, and I will have defended my IC title. And that did indeed start happening, and the ref was doing it like he had no idea what was going on. It was pretty simple, referee. Learn about the rules. But just as he was gonna get to 10, Ali's music hit. He came out and said, look, we're having a feud on SmackDown, kind of. You see it sometimes, other times you don't. Why don't we have a fight right now? Shinsuke, for no reason, agreed. It happened. Give it up. I will say this was a little shorter than expected, given that there are only 3 matches on an hour-long card, and that is how long Smackville lasted. They only picked a few things, but it was still quite entertaining. And if you just took it for what it was, an extra bit of content to watch on a Sunday or a Saturday, if you watched it then, I don't see how you can have that much of a problem with it. The pair had a good back and forth battle, with the idea being that Shinsuke Nakamura is trying to keep Ali down, but he was just too quick, like a cat. Particularly cool moment came when Ali was trying to superplex Shinsuke Nakamura from the top rope, but he got out of that, so Ali backflipped onto the floor, and as Nakamura jumped at him, he drop kicked him in the face. Now don't get me wrong, Nakamura was doing a jump in nothing. He had no move in mind, he just jumped like this as if he was going to get ready to hit, but it's wrestling, people, come on. As mentioned, the IC title was on the line, and that basically served as the sword of Damocles here, because in no way was Ali going to beat Shinsuke for that championship. So eventually, the man did get Kinshasa right in the face, Nakamura won, and now WWE will want you to forget about this so they can do the feud proper on SmackDown going forward. But really, look, if Finn Balor does get injured or ill or whatever it is, you got to do something. So we'll give WWE a free pass. It was a fun 8 or so minutes. Right, I do want to throw in there that doing commentary on this night was David Otunga and Tom Phillips, and more or less that was fine. I mean, who even cares about WWE commentary anymore? However, when Phillips questioned whether Nakamura could be ready for Ali, given that he was expecting Finn Balor, David Otunga replied by saying, well, let me counter that by saying in the back earlier, I saw Ali having some food. David Otunga, what the fuck? Hello, my name is Simon Miller, and welcome to an unexpected episode of No but he talks like that. Today, David and Tonka, we're going to keep it nice and simple, and we're going to go back to school because, Dave, you are allowed to have some food before going to do strenuous activity. In fact, a lot of nutritionists would recommend it because food is basically energy. It has nothing to do with being prepared. Do you think when soldiers go to war, they starve themselves? Of course they don't. David Atunga, you're a fool. Nobody talks like that. One of the stupidest things I've heard in a very long time. Apparently, if you have some food, you're not ready. So you're having breakfast and someone knocks on your door, you just fall down dead because you weren't expecting anything. Down. Samoa Joe cut a promo after this though. It was good. You can have it up. It was pretty standard, but he pointed out even though tonight he can lose without losing, given it's a triple threat match, that's not how he sees things. He just sees it as more victims to crush with his bare hands. As we know, that's poppycock because Joe always says things like that and then loses, and keep that in your mind. But we love Samoa Joe here on Ups and Downs, and we will protect him and we will serve him till the end. Elias was then out to give us a special Smackville performance, and once again, yes, it sounded like he was going to stand in the ring and just do a bunch of heroin, but thankfully he didn't do that, and he just played his guitar, and it was relatively entertaining. Give it up. He sang a song about how the Titans were never going to win the Super Bowl, and at one point he was just strumming going, Shane McMahon, and then he got a phone call from Vince McMahon, and apparently Vinny Boy said, hey Elias, you can go as long as you want. And he did go a long time here. If you've ever questioned, I wonder how good Elias is at guitar. Like I say, he was soloing away, and you can now judge him should you so wish. I do want to say that went on for so long at one point, I worried that Elias had forgotten where he was, and he thought like he was in his bedroom practicing. But again, it was kind of different from what you see on Raw and SmackDown, and that's mostly what I wanted from this. One person didn't agree with this though, and that was Kevin Owens, and he magically appeared behind Elias mid-concert, and at one point even had his guitar, was going, Elias, I wanna fight you. Not true, that didn't happen at all, but what he did say is that former drifter, you were butt munch, I'd like to have a match with you. A ref appeared from nowhere, somebody made that official, and we did get Kevin Owens versus Elias. Elias got the jump on KO, which meant he took control for a while, but I was a bit baffled, and I am being a massive pedant here, and I am pulling at straws, when the two went for the top rope. They were going to do a top rope superplex, and then Kevin Owens got out of it. But how weird is that? In back-to-back matches, on a card from a TV viewer point of view, only had 3 bouts, we did exactly the same top rope suplex spot. It just stood out like a sore thumb to me. I was like, I gotta get down from somewhere, so I pulled it down from here. Give it down. It was all building to the finish though, which was Elias getting stone cold stunner. No, not really, I guess Kevin Owens stunner, KO stunner, I don't know what the hell it's called, but you know what I'm talking about. 1, 2, 3, Kevin Owens wins, Elias loses, and really, I can't remember. Elias never wins, basically. He won the 24/7 title that time, but other than that, I can't remember a damn time Elias won anything. Amazingly, it was then our main event because again, for the WWE network of the show, these are the 3 matches that they took to broadcast. But we can't be too angry at it because we're always moaning that Raw is 3 hours. This flew by quicker than Mojo Rawley's push. It was Dolph Ziggler versus Samoa Joe versus Kofi Kingston for the WWE title, and while this suffered from the same problems the first match did, in the sense everyone was like, ain't no way they changing the WWE Championship here, it was still a bit of a rollick. Give it up. There was a Kofi promo at the start where he said he is always going to be able to overcome insurmountable odds, and it looked like it may have been in trouble when Dolph Ziggler and Samoa Joe went, hey man, we the bad guys, he the good guy, why don't we team up and kick his ass? And as always, Samoa Joe was great because Dolph Ziggler was all like, well, how are we going to sort it out when Kofi Kingston is done? And Samoa Joe was all like, we'll figure it out. But you could see in his eyes, you could see in his head that he was like, what will happen, Dolph Ziggler? I will kill you all. And it wasn't wrong because dudes in that situation never got along. They started to argue. They started to kick the crap out of each other. Then Kofi Kingston got back in the ring and it was just a big brawl. There was an awesome moment where Joe was in control and he took Kofi and he threw him into the steps. He took Dolph and he threw him over the announce table. But the big question hanging over this is what is the hierarchy in WWE at the moment, or who is going to be booked to take the pinfall loss? And as always, WWE hates me. And they took my beloved and they ran him into the ground. After a very cool end sequence when there was near fall after near fall after near fall and a pretty badass clothesline on Kofi Kingston from Samoa Joe, it all turned around. Samoa Joe went to choke out Kofi, he got out of it. He troubled in paradise the Samoan one right in the face. 1, 2, 3. Still your WWE champion Kofi Kingston, and still the person that gets beats all the time, almost as much as Sami Zayn, Samoa Joe. And if you're wondering where Dolph Ziggler was throughout all of this, Samoa Joe had package suplexed him into the ground and he rolled out of the ring to try and recover. That is all I have to say about Smackville, because again, that's all there is to say. I do say I appreciate it when WWE throws these little nuggets of goodness out there, because it just feels quite unique and it's quite fun. I wake up on Sunday because I'm here in the UK and I'm like, oh, is something that the WWE Network wasn't going to be. And also the WWE Network is brand new now. They finally gave it a new lick of paint to the point the search function works. I mean, we shouldn't really be celebrating that. That's like celebrating being able to breathe. But hey, look, being able to breathe is nice, and actually being able to type something into that search bar and get what you want makes me a pleased pup. But it's out there right now. You can check it out. It flies really quickly. It's nice and easy. It's effortless. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. It's less important than, I don't know, cheese. Cheese ain't that important, even though it's delicious. But if we are talking about the overall goodness of the show, yeah, it gets an up because there wasn't enough there for it to be bad. A lot of the downs I gave are just me, like I say, picking holes for the sake of picking holes. But isn't it always fun to do an ups and downs? And amazingly, just because of how some people are in WWE, we still managed to pull out a Nobody Talks Like That segment. And who would have thought that was possible in a show that lasted 62 minutes? Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about last night's Smackville, and also which camp do you fit in? Do you think it was a stress test for the WWE Network, or do you think it's a big conspiracy theory? Again, I'm over here. I think that's just, it's just test. That's all it is, just test. Like, share, and subscribe. Head over to whatculture.com, read yourself some more articles. Follow What Culture on Twitter at What Culture WWE, and watch more videos here at What Culture Wrestling. My name is Simon from What Culture. Thank you for joining me for a very special and kind of lackluster edition of Ups and Downs, but isn't it nice that we give everything these treatments, because then you know if a show was good, and you know if a show was bad, or if a show gets an up, or if a show gets a down. We'll be back on Tuesday to do Raw. We'll be back on Wednesday to do SmackDown, and then we'll move into the future, because SummerSlam ain't that far away. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon, unless you see me first.